Greetings, everyone. Everybody's calling me now. As I said, I'm doing a show. All right. This is a really important show in my book. Why I'm doing this. It's not going to be a long talk. Just to get you up to date, up to par, understand what's going on one way or another. All right. It's going to be like this. I'm going to start off. I just want to give you a brief history of where I am, what's happening. I'm in Hawaii, the Big Island. And there's so much going on here over the past week. It's crazy. There have been two shows on the news channel where they put up videos of supposedly sightings, but they're calling them satellites. And Mr. Musk put up a bunch of satellites supposedly in a strand. Well, one of them was a strand across the whole sky, which lit up. All these little satellites lit up. Second one was 6 ships flying by. And the one I just recently saw 2 days ago was about 100 ships in about 20 minutes and going across the sky, not too close to each other. Some there was 2, then there was 1, 1, 1, then a couple, then 1, 1, 1. For 20 minutes. I thought I filmed it. Something happened. The camera did not film it. So I want to get into a couple things. We're in serious problems, serious things going down. Now, it's going to start with the earthquake chart. Over the past year, it's been getting worse. I said this 2 years ago. I said it 3 years ago. And then last year I said next year will be an incredible, horrible year, which it has become. Over the past 6 months, there's been more earthquakes, bigger than ever in history, in a short period of time. Just today, there was about 12 earthquakes over 5.1. Up to 6.4. 2 weeks ago, there was a 7.4, and down around Australia, all those islands have been being hit. And now, right now, one of them got hit today with 6 giant earthquakes. The 2 islands next to that have been hit from the all the top islands around there, from the Philippines. I can't even think of all the names, but all those islands are being hit. Indonesia, sorry. And giant earthquakes hitting all around the Ring of Fire, including Russia's been bombarded. So has Japan. Now, they're not saying anything. Hawaii is creating a new geothermal plant. The people here in Hawaii are boycotting the telescope. And they're also boycotting the windmills, because windmills produce energy that actually hurt people. And that's going to be coming out somewhere in the near future. But in the interim, they're not boycotting the geothermal plant. They started blasting a hole. They're digging into the ground right over where the earthquake was. Basically, it was called Fissure 7, between 7 and 12. I guess it was really 12. But they sealed them all up when the earthquake was going on. That was the only one they could not seal up because it was a volcano. All right, now they're blasting over it, and they're going to build a geothermal plant. They want to go 5,000 feet down. The lava is 8,000 feet. In between that, there's a steam line which could explode anytime, and they know it, and they admit it, and they talk about it. So we got serious things going on here on top of the UFO thing. So this fleet of ships that I saw, they're going to say it's satellites. I don't believe, under all the work I've been doing, I deal with a person. I might have them, when I get a show where I can bring somebody else on, have them come on a show, talking about satellites, what you can see and what you can't see, how big they are and how little they are. We'll get into that some other time. But what you see is probably not a satellite. If it stops or if it just disappears, it's not a satellite. If it makes a curve, a turn, or any of that, it's not a satellite. If it goes backwards, it's not a satellite. So there's a lot of things. Sure, you'll see little dots going across the sky. 90% of them are not satellites because they're too little. Even if they're reflecting the sun's light, they're the size of a milk box, or if some are even the size of a car. A few of them were the size of a trailer. But even that high up in space, bouncing light off of it, you would know that. Because if it was moving towards the sun or away from the sun, depending where you are, if the sun's in back of you and you're looking at the satellite in front of you, you could see the light reflecting off it. But if you're facing the satellite and the sun's in back of the satellite, you're not going to see the light from the sun bouncing off the back of the satellite. There's a lot of reasons why UFOs are there, and you can see them more so than you can see satellites. So let's go bypass that right now. Let's get into the facts that I want to bring out today. I want anybody listening to this, send it to every single person they know. Please, the lies, the stories, everything coming out are just that, twisted truth and things that will not help the human race, which we're going to go into. I said this isn't going to be long, so I hope you don't get bored. I'm not going to try to bore you to death and keep you here telling you stuff that you don't need to know. Let's start with something really, really important, which nobody has talked about. Not one person other than me since Trump was elected. All right. Months before Trump got elected, Putin was on TV in Russia. It was being translated to me by a person that was speaking Russian, that he said he wanted Trump to tell the truth about what really happened at 9/11. Then he said he wants Trump to tell the truth about what the United States is doing with aliens. All right. On top of that, Putin said, we are dealing with 37 alien races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. This was months before Trump was elected. So Trump didn't come out and explain the truth about 9/11, which you probably won't. But now, I'm going to go into this as we move along. I want you to keep these thoughts in your mind because they're all critical things that are happening. There was a thing just on the History Channel, and they interviewed a couple people, and they had one person that talked to Trump and asked him about UFOs. Trump said he doesn't really believe in them. He said there's people that said they saw him, and that's all he would say about it. I kind of feel he won't talk about him because he doesn't want people to dislike him or think he's crazy. Really? But he should be the first person to come out and break it. He would be like the top person in the UFO world if he did. He'd get a lot of the UFO people programmed to believe in all this stuff to follow him. So does he know about it? I'm sure he does. All right. Now, the reason why I say that, remember, Trump meets Putin. He goes in a closed room with Putin. What did they talk about? What did Putin say on Russian TV before he got elected? Well, we don't know what he said, do we? I mean, they talk about secret conversations with other governments from around the world that the United States doesn't hear, shouldn't hear. You think they should be talking about things that we should not know about? Like building a Trump Tower or space armies or anything like that? Well, right after he comes out from talking with Putin, Trump comes out and says he's creating a space army. He's creating a space army. We have a space army. Duh. But then again, people are ignorant, don't know the truth, don't want to know the facts about it. All right. What is a space army? Well, they're the army that will defend the United States and the world from alien invasion. And Russia is a part of it in some ways. China is not a part of our space army. All right. We were supposed to all be friends in space, all one race in space, but that's not happening either. So what are we going to do about Trump and this thing? Well, we'll see whether he decides to release information before he gets impeached. And I know they're going to try to squash. Everybody's up in arms. I'm going to go into that theory later on if I have time. Now, the word that's happening in the UFO world is called disclosure. Stephen Greer is the biggest name to bring it out, to promote it, and try to make it happen. Well, I'm not going to go into the facts about Stephen Greer. I mean, he came out with this pencil alien, which was about the size 3 inches and as skinny as a pencil, and trying to say it was a real alien and stuff. That turned out to be a real farce. But he did that for a year. During that time, he's getting involved with people that were in Congress and all those kind of people coming out and trying to testify about their awareness of UFOs and aliens. Disclosure means unclosing the truth that we'll be able to perceive and understand. Now, how much disclosure do people really think they want? How much disclosure do you really think the government could allow out? I just watched a special. It was on right now on the History Channel. I guess it was on a night ago, last night. Uh, and he was talking. I'm not going to say all these names of these people in the UFO world because they're all storytellers. I am not a storyteller. I do not tell you lies. I tell you the truth from how I experienced and know it as a fact, as real. And there's only a few people in the UFO world that I truly, truly trust. Hold on, I got something happening here. Let me see if I could wear my glasses. Hello, Bruce out there. Gizmo's chilling in the background. All right, like I said, please, when this is over, send this link to everybody you know. All right. All right, yeah, let me keep going with this because this is dangerous warning. All right. Disclosure coming out from the government would mean what would they tell us? They are dealing with aliens. Why would they tell us that? Why are they dealing with aliens? What are the aliens giving them? Do you really think the government can come out and say anything about that? Are people that ignorant? I'm sure they are. Why? Because they got nothing in here that pertains to reality of why they're even on this planet. So why would they care about things coming to this planet or anything else? Oh, somewhere in Spaceland, somewhere in Dreamland. 90% of what people think comes from Dreamland, and it's not even manifesting. Like peace, really, world peace will ever happen. World love. I mean, John Lennon started that, and guess what happened to him? Well, let's get on with this. All right, disclosure. If the government came out and said they allowed the different races to abduct a certain amount of people, what would people think about that? Would they care? I'm sure they would. Would it make them feel happy? Of course not. Outside of that, why do you think aliens came here? Well, they came out from inside the earth. Well, maybe one race did, but are they helping the government? No, they're not. Drumbelow Melchizedek talked about the inside race, inside the earth, the crystal beings, and said he was going to bring them out 2 years ago. That never happened. All right. So let's go back to disclosure. If the government came out and said, oh, yeah, we're working with 7 races, which they're working from anywhere from 7 to 37 races. I had a friend when I was doing a show with TJ Morris, ET Radio. Her husband worked with the government, worked in the Army. So did she. He said they worked with 37 alien races. Bob Dean, who I met many times, who died, said they were working with 47 races. Even that's being true. How come they're not being part of anybody on this planet or helping us in any way? Let's go into detail. Okay, what did they do when they came here? Why are they here? Well, the beginning of that was basically Roswell. I'm not saying why they came to the planet, but why they would get involved with the human race. When we shot down 3 ships, 3, not 1, 2 were never reported. All right, and I know that for a fact. I have a friend. I won't say friend, a personal person I did a vision quest with and things like that. A medicine man, elder. Grandfather was with an alien out of one of those ships that were shot down for almost a year with 2 other medicine men. They were younger when it happened, but they're elders now. So yeah, there's a lot of things I can get into, but I'm not. I mean, people aren't ready for any kind of truth. They want lies, they want stories, and they want to feel good about what they hear. All right, which is not going to happen ever. Promise you. If you watch the movie V, they came here, they made friends, they were going to heal everybody and everything else. And what was their ultimate goal? Watch the movie, the newer version of V. I think it was a six-month series on TV. Really good, if you want to know the truth. If that's the way it's going to go down. If they don't come here and destroy most of the people or take them, whatever. They're not going to be taken to another planet to be happily ever living on another planet. That's not going to happen. Never. The Greys are creating civilizations on other worlds that are similar, but they don't need us there. They're taking our embryos and our children, little children before they're born, and programming them. So there's a lot going on with that. But disclosure, what would Trump come out and say? We are working with aliens? Doing what? Would he admit that? Why? Well, aliens are here. If you admit that they're here, then you're going to have to admit that they're here for a reason. And then you're going to have to come up with a reason. Not that the government can't make up multiple stupid, ignorant stories, which I'll get into, about who I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. But what do you want to see? What do you want to hear? Oh, they're going to save us. They're going to purify the ocean? Why aren't they? They're going to purify the land? Why aren't they? Saving the animals and the mammals? Why aren't they? The United States has been killing 10,000 dolphins a year. The Philippines and Japan have been killing millions of dolphins. Do anybody care? And they serve them to their children in school, while Japan serves restaurants serving whales, catching them in illegal waters to catch them. Do people care? They don't care about nothing. Nothing important. Just about how much money they make, how big the house they can get, and how big of a car they can get. Then some people care how many children they can have. But you can't afford that many children, and you shouldn't, because you can't teach one of them anything important. Why would you want to have 10 children that you can't teach anything? Let them all become zombies? Programmed robots for the world? Because you people, meaning most people, are going to be useless to the government. If you don't know how to fix a computer or work on a computer, what do they need you for? Everything's becoming computerized, whether you can see that or not. You must be pretty ignorant if you can't. Thinking they're going to need you in 25 years to do what? Serve hamburgers at Burger King? Even Walmart is going to be completely robotized by next year. Here in Hawaii, they're going to do it. They already have robots loading the shelves at night. What are they going to need your sorry ass for? Think about it. No. They're going to do what? What does the government care about you for? Unless you want to strap a bomb to your back and run into a city and blow it up. I mean, what are you useful for? They're doing that to the dolphins. So let's get real here. I'm as real as it's going to get. Nobody will talk like I do because nobody had the same experiences as I did in multiple levels, working with deities, working with angels, working with psychic people at all multiple levels. My best friend was the top psychic in the United States, doing Ghostbusting, doing exorcisms, doing implant removals. So please, I'm involved with all of it. And is it all important? Not really. For a few people it was, but in general, people don't care. People don't even believe in ghosts and spirits and demons, but they believe in angels. We got such a twisted, programmed level of awareness. And I'm sick and tired of dealing with people that are ignorant. And most people in the UFO world are delusional completely. Well, I was on a ship with aliens and they took me to dinner and then we landed on that planet and they showed us what? What you're going to do if you go there? And what are you going to do when you go there? What are you going to eat? What are you going to wear? Do you people think at all when they rationalize what they say they know and do? Now, I'm not going to go into names. There's like 3 movies that just came out. One, you have to buy it. 2 of them you can rent online. About UFOs, about the end of the world, about what Ray said that's going to happen. And these names of these people are famous. They're all on the History Channel, on Ancient Aliens, or David Icke, David Wilcock. Each of them are friends with these people, promoting them. We have a person in Hawaii, super famous now, and he's attacking the government at every level. So what's going to happen? Do you think disclosure could be anything good? Oh yeah, the happy beings from the Pleiadians are going to come here and serve everybody steak dinner while they give them gold bricks to put in their back pocket and then send them on their way. What do you expect from an alien? That they agree with your religious beliefs? Oh no, they help create. What religious belief did they create that was beneficial to the human race? I'm not talking about deities. I'm talking about aliens. 2 separate entities which are separate. They're not the same. Ghosts and aliens are different. Demons and aliens are different. So religious people will say all aliens are demons. I mean, people twist whatever, they fit it into their little programmed, little twisted little mind that has no reality of a real God, of a real reality. Now, if you go into religions, which I'm not going to go into, there would be too many days right now, which I'm not trying to do in this short lecture today. All right. We have a short period of time to get our act together. Why? There is destruction coming to the planet. I'm going to go into that later about what I saw in Hawaii, which means something dramatic is going to happen real soon. But let's go back to this disclosure thing. What do you want? Congress come out and say, oh, well, yeah, their aliens are really here. And what were they doing? And then when these people say they operated on 300 aliens, really? Somebody that I know, I just found it's putting out a book this month, is going to be out there selling a book about aliens on his ranch. I was out there. All right, if there was an alien on his ranch, so what? He killed it. I mean, he killed one, supposedly took the blood and had it analyzed. But what about the rest of them? He said he killed 18. I was talking to him on the phone, and he left the phone to kill one. And then he said the whole house came off its foundation. All these things happened. I went out there a week later. Nothing was different, except I found out what kind of a person he was, which really made me sick. I ended my friendship with him after 2 years because of that. Now, getting back to reality. I'm going to medicine woman out there. She filmed all kinds of stuff on the property. Demons over his wife, all this stuff. He didn't want her to free all the demons from his property. He's trying to make money off of it, trying to sell it as a demon alien ranch. All right. If you want it, go out there. I mean, the East City, James Gillen is out doing the same thing. People want to follow orbs. Nothing good is happening. If you see an orb go by, does that mean anything good? Oh, well, now they're friends with me. Really? Well, let's go a little bit further. All right. I'm going to talk about 3 people, important people. Why? Because they're the ones that had truth and they were putting it out there. All right. One is in jail. One is in the nut house. And one is dead. I know multiple people that were killed and taken out by the government or disappeared. But I'm going to talk about these 3 people. All right. Let's start with a person named John Ford. He's on Long Island in the nut house. He's been in there since 1996. We were doing a TV show, Sargel 18 and I, on Strange Universe. He was supposed to come on the next week. We showed videos of an actual ship shooting out ships. And the show was good. They cut me out. Everything I said, they cut everything I said out. And then I was on it for a couple seconds in the beginning and the end, but they cut me out what I was saying. I was talking about what was happening in the native part of that whole thing. So John Ford shot the best video of a ship crashing on Long Island. I saw the video. It was shipped out around the world to 4 people, and they only can release it if he dies. Well, they arrested him like the week after the show was not on the air and said he had uranium, a barrel of uranium, and he was going to kill Congress. People involved in Congress, he was going to put it in their toothpaste. The government came out and said this on public TV in New York and New Jersey. Do you think the mankind believed it? Of course they did. People are ignorant. When it comes to truth, they'll accept anything that sounds good or different. When they said he was going to kill Congress by putting toothpaste in it, imagine that. I got a barrel of uranium. What do? Stick my fingers in it, scoop up, and stick it inside their toothpaste? Do you think somebody could touch uranium and not get exposed to it? Have a barrel of uranium and not be exposed to it and still be alive? The ignorance of mankind is mind-boggling. And I just get more depressed every day looking how sad what the human race is doing to themselves, to the world. Yeah, aliens are here. I saw one. I was close to one. I saw thousands of ships. Yes, it's all real. Is it really helping us? No, it is not. All right. Now, this John Ford, the ship crashed. I went out where it crashed. The trees were gone. The city tried burning it down, the evidence. They set it on fire and said it was burning for 2 weeks and they couldn't put it out. Long Island's flatland. You could put a fire out in a day. It's not like California where you got these giant forests and things like that. All right. So for 2 weeks, black trailers were going in and out of there. Why would black trailers be going in and out of a fire? Well, they took the ship out. They took the aliens out. They took everything that was there out, and then they burned it. When I went there, there was a runway, which may be about 15 feet wide. All the trees were burnt, but they all had notches down the trees because when that ship came down, it went right through them all. All right. But again, that story's squashed. He's in the nut house, and he was supposed to get out. And it was like they had to give him a hearing. And guess what? They squashed it. The federal government says, oh, no, we need to evaluate him 1 more year. So he keeps getting 1 more year sentenced. They'll never let him out. Not until the whole UFO world is exposed and everything else is happening. But all right, that was John Ford. When I went to see him, I was going to see him. I went in a house, was run by, I guess, a FEMA person who had like about, I'm only dreaming. I don't know how many exactly, but maybe 40 computers stacked up in one room. And it's a monitor. They monitor certain words that anybody types on their computer, like aliens, government, president, weapons, things like that, sex and all that. Within 3 months, they arrested like 450 people involved in a sex scandal, porn thing, and this was years ago. But he told me if I go to see John Ford, they'll kill my family, and if that doesn't work, they'll end up killing me as well. And that was like right before I was going out to see him, because he was out in Long Island. I was in Jersey. And he says, "Don't risk your life. Don't destroy your family." I had to think about it. I mean, I wanted the truth out, but I'm not going to destroy my family. At least at that time. I mean, I had a family. Now I don't. So I have one person in my life. But again, here's the thing: if you admit something and you're going to go out and say it, please back it up, support it, and prove it. Again, when I went out to this ranch with these aliens and everything, we filmed aliens there. The person I brought did. We had more evidence within, I'd say, 1 week than he had in all his life. So is he telling the truth? Only a small part of it, but he's filling it in with multiple lies and twisted stories. So we got people out here in the UFO world all doing the same thing. How many of them are telling you the truth and anything important to help the human race in any level? Okay, all right, if aliens are helping us, what are they doing? What would they really do to help us? What do you think? Put in your mind, aliens are coming down and they're going to help us. Help us what? What did they do? Now, if that all went down, okay, why aren't we doing anything with the benefits that they gave us? Well, Tesla came and gave us technology. A race decided to give Tesla technology, which they knew what he would do with it. They created time travel, not Tesla. All right. The whole Philadelphia experiment came out of Tesla's thinking, which was given to him. All right. Then the Montauk Project was created, which was the most dangerous thing ever created. Again, these stories, do you want the truth? Do you want to know what government does, what the United States and Russia did, what the United States actually was doing when they linked up with Russia? I mean, we took all their brains to the United States, and I'm sure they did the same with us. At least that's what they thought. So there's so much going on. Now, I'm going to go to the second person. Fred Bell. Fred Bell, not Art Bell. Let me see if I can get this question real fast. Hold on. Am I an alien? I guess not. Unless you consider every person that came to this planet as aliens, yes. I mean, I can't read the rest of this. Hold on. All right. You know, I got hit up with Peggy Kane's work. I'll talk about that later. Right now, I want to get through a couple things before I do anything, questions or anything, if I'm going to stay on that long today. Here's the thing. All right, all these people, Linda Moulton Howe, Laura Eisenhower. Laura Eisenhower, well, guess what? Her great-grandfather was Eisenhower. And he had problems dealing with UFOs and aliens. But I didn't know his wife was speaking about it for a while, which probably programmed Laura Eisenhower. And then suddenly she gets abducted, and then suddenly her story comes out from that. But her stories, I'm not going to attack everybody right now. I don't have the time to. 90% of everything you hear is twisted truth. And it's not going to help the human race. Period. Bigfoot's not going to save mankind. I mean, all these little things that are coming out in these stories and people saying this, that, and the other thing is not going to help you or me, nor your children. All right. All right. Now, Fred Bell was top of the line. He worked for the government when he was 12. He was a genius. He worked on the HARP system for the government. When he was working on it, he blew the house next door apart with shooting his beam up and everything, bounced and hit the house next door to him. He was involved with all that. He made friends with Billy Myers. Now, people are going to say, well, he's a fake. No, he wasn't all a fake. Part of his stuff was, and a lot of it wasn't. He prophesied 100 prophecies in 1950. He sent those prophecies to every government on the planet. Billy Myers. 89 of them came true to this day. In detail. Every one of them. So who told him that? The race that he was working with. The Pleiadians. They are us from the future. That's all they are. They're not super advanced aliens. There's no such thing as an advanced alien for the people that think there are. All right. Now, here's the thing. When they came out, all right, Billy Myers started showing videos of ships over his house and everything else. The problem is, I guess he couldn't do it all the time, so he created his own pictures as well. This guy has one arm, so everything he did was with one arm. Never mind setting up the ship and have it dangling on a string, spin it around, filming it, and all those kind of things. But he did meet with aliens. They did teach him, give him stuff. All right. Now, Fred Bell, who I just talked about, I'm talking about now, met with him, brought him out to California. They wanted to keep him, tried to bribe him to stay there and everything, but he wouldn't. So Fred Bell took his knowledge and was working with it. He was brought on the Pleiadian ship. His book, I can't see it from here. Just Fred Bell, his first book is the most incredible book if you want to read it, about facts. Everything you want to know is in that book in detail. All right. He met with these aliens, was on their ship, learned about devices, nuclear reactor devices for protection that you can wear and things like that. So he was pretty famous. I met him, talked to him. He talked to me personally because he would never talk to other people about what was really going on because too many people have a big mouth. So at that time, I was given one of his nuclear reactors to wear, and then I didn't see him for a while. Then he was on Jesse Ventura's show. On that show, they were talking about the HAARP system. All right. And Jesse goes, well, aren't you afraid of the government? He goes, no, I work for the government. Red Bell said, I work for the government. And then he said, oh, you're not worried about getting killed, but what about me? He goes, don't worry, you're too mainstream for them to take you out. So Jesse did the show about the HAARP system and everything else. And Fred Bell went to the hotel after he left the show and died a day later. All right. And that was the last I ever talked to Fred Bell. So here's the thing. People that put the truth out don't live too long or don't get to say it. Now, the next person I want to talk about was a friend, good friend. I worked with him a lot. I went to his house. He came to mine, stayed at my house. I was his bodyguard when he was in New York City, all kinds of things. His name's Sean David Morton. He got involved with a prophecy that he thought was real, and many people lost lots of money. And a lot of people started hating him after that. But he helped many, many people make tons of money as well. He created the whole scenario how to become a sovereign citizen. He didn't invent it, but he started teaching and telling people how to do it and everything. So in the end, he put out 3 books. It was originally 1, then it was 2, and then it was split into 3. Sands of Time. If you want to read the most important book ever written, in story kind of a viewpoint, Sands of Time. Sure, there's a little bit things in there to make it human, but like I said, Fred Bell's book, Rays of Truth, Crystals of Light, I think that's what it's called. Incredible. Those 2 books, if you read them, you don't have to listen to another UFO person as long as you live. Promise you. Sean David Morton was arrested almost 2 years ago. Him and his wife. Under multiple charges. They had 157 charges against them. 0 proof of anything they said. Not one witness, even though they said they had people testifying that he stole millions of dollars. He was never a millionaire. He lived in a railroad house. He was never pocketing money. He gave his money when he did the Whole Life Expo, New Life Expo. He would give all his money to the charity and things like that. The only money he made was on his newsletter, the Delphi Associates newsletter. He wasn't a bad person. He was very egotistical. An incredibly smart person. I don't think too many people on this planet could hold a conversation with him and being able to go above his conversation. Kind of why I talk the way I do. If I didn't hang out with him, I wouldn't talk the way I am now. But he just keeps going. He channels this information and just keeps going with it. He prophesied 9/11 1 year before it happened in detail. I was there. There was 300 people there watching and listening. And it happened exactly the way he said it would. And I'm not going to say it wasn't inside information, because it probably was. Even when Kennedy was killed, I was shown a video of Kennedy getting killed, being shot from the front of the car. I was shown a video of a base on the other side of the moon, which cannot be shown to the world. Do I care now? I can't show it, so what good is me trying to brag about it? But I saw them. So things are much realer. Cloning grays. I saw a video of that as well. Japan created a synthetic version of that and tried to push that off as real, of how they clone the grays and stuff. And that has to do with cattle mutilation. Linda Moulton Howe has been working about cattle mutilation for 40 years, and still she has no proof of anything about it. All right, Bruce out there said, Santa Tama a horrible lie. Well, that's your viewpoint. All right. I know the people involved. I know what went down, and I know what's going to go down if Sean doesn't get killed. All right. And it was all about the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project. John Edmund claims he was in the chair, sat in the Montauk Project in Long Island. Another story from his mind, thinking he has the key for the universe. I mean, these people are delusional, completely. There was 3 wars in the sky against the United States and the world. The United States and Russia defended this planet a couple of times already. That's what the space army is doing. Whether you want to know it or not, whether they're really there or not, they're really there, and they are protecting this planet. But not for the middle class or poor people like you and me. It's only for the rich people. The underground cities they're building are for the rich people, not the ignorant, not the stupid, and not the poor and homeless and sick. It's for the rich people that think they're smart, think they're intelligent, and don't care about the other kind of people. So yeah, call people liars, call people lies. John Edmund was one of the biggest liars I ever met in my life. All right? These people out there are delusional. I did a show with TJ Morris. I'm not going to say all the names, but we had every delusional UFO person on that show, including one of them that did the show with us, claiming that the reincarnation of Inky, claiming the government's building, the aliens are building cities out of these people. The stories are incredible. All right, please don't tell me about Sean David Morton. Anybody. I was with him. I was hanging with him for many years, 15 years. He stayed in my house. He stayed with my wife's girlfriend. I knew him inside out. I knew the bad things about him, and I knew the good things about him. He was a kind, giving person. He didn't make money off of anybody. The whole truth and nothing but the truth? No, nobody's like that except me. I'll tell you the lies about people as well. Mixed truth is more toxic than no truth. That's a complete lie. You mix truth together, you're going to only get truth. You're not going to get a lie. The truth that God exists is the most important truth that nobody wants to hear. To think people think they're God or universal energy is God is the delusional lie twisted with God, and it becomes false. The truth is there are spiritual laws that exist on this planet that nobody lives by. Truth and lies don't mix together. Humans mix the lies with lies. They don't know the truth. Name one person on this planet that knows God. Conversations with God. I debated him many times, the person that wrote that. Said, come on my show. Debate me in live, in real time. Anywhere, any place on this planet. Anybody that claims this and that are the liars, and they don't have truth to stand by. All right, here's the thing. When we deal with what's happening right now, every single person in UFO world putting out these movies is giving you what they call truth. The end time's coming. Corey Good said the earth is going to be destroyed by the Endorians. Listen to my other friend, Sergeant 18. He's going to put the truth about Planet X in the barrel this weekend. He just put it out. You're going to have to go to Patreon to listen to it and pay to get into it to listen to it. He did 200 shows in the past 2 years, a year and a half, and now he's going to Patreon and he's making people pay to listen to it. All right, that's one thing. But on top of that, I worked with him for years. We filmed every kind of creature on this planet. We filmed every kind of ship on this planet. He filmed the only picture ever taken of the Anunnaki. All right, and he's coming out and talking about that. He shows the picture. All right, so here's the thing. President Trump, what does he know about aliens, really? What is he going to do about it? Anything? Of course not. Now, here's something everybody should read. I was going to even say it. The Last President. It's a book. It was printed 120 years ago. And the mystical journeys of Trump's father, Trump. And you need to read both of them. It contains everything about Trump in detail, but it says he went inside the earth, he went into the past and the future, and that this race actually had to come back and forth to tell this guy writing a book in 120 years ago what Trump was going to do and what happened, and the people around him. President, the last president. And then the other book that he wrote within the period of time was The Magical Journey of Trump. I can't think of his father's first name, but they're incredible because they're all facts that nobody could possibly know in any detail. He mentioned somebody that's working with Trump, the head of the different departments and things like that. So it's an incredible book. It was time travel. But he also said Trump was sent back to stop Tesla from creating the doomsday weapon, which Trump didn't do. Trump was supposedly see the future, a mushroom bomb exploding the planet. And he's going to do his thing until the world's destroyed. So read this book. And it was written 120 years ago. So you really got to catch up on things. Those books are inside the White House. And what Trump's going to do about it, but he'll admit that. Somebody didn't confront him yet. They should. What is it about? Why? And all that. But that's just one other little thing that's going by. Now, this guy who wrote the book, who was he? What was he? And how will this happen? Again, aliens come and put truth that they want us to believe in here, and mankind accepts it. All right? And when people accept that truth, it becomes their truth, but it's a lie. There's only one truth. And people say, well, it's your truth, my truth. No, you can have whatever you want, but it's not the truth. They could have whatever they want. Aliens have no clue about God. Not one alien race can tell you much about a real God. Then if they say, well, we created you, the only question you ask them, who created them? They can't fill that. I mean, I know people that claim they came from Venus. Now, Alnick, she claims she came here at 6 years old, and she was Venusian, and she was here to teach. And she taught, she lectured for many years. She almost died last year. She's still teaching a little bit and lecturing, but I challenged her with a few questions. Nobody can answer important questions, but they claimed that Jesus was an alien. So did Billy Myers. Again, I became aware of all my lifetimes. Not that I wanted to. I was shown them from Atlantis to the present, and all the lies and stories that came out and were twisted from that. So, well, was mine a fantasy? No, I proved it in many ways. I had a friend, and I just found out he died last week, who was one of the top psychics in the religion that I was in for 20 years. He was the top psychic in his religion, even though they all claimed multiple things and claimed they were higher than Jesus and higher than this and all that. And he was the only one that I worked with because he knew things that I knew, and he would actually help me confirm and go through the situations because he was that gifted, all right, in the inner worlds. I'm not going to go into that in detail. Maybe I will as a whole story one day because he was an incredible person. We got along. We used to talk for hours anytime we talked, which was probably at least once a month. But he's gone now. And the whole idea of psychics and what they're doing, what their mission is not to make a person happy. A person that prophesizes something, if an angel came down to give you anything, it wasn't to say get a better job, get a better life. It was to tell you what is going to happen and what's going to happen to the world. That's what they do. They don't do anything else. They're not teachers. Muhammad going out and meeting with Gabriel. His brother told him who it was. He didn't know who it was. Well, who are you? Then his brother goes, you know who you're working with? Gabriel. How did his brother know? If you read the Quran and if you read the steps and the levels and all the things, they contradict each other. All the things that Muhammad was given from Gabriel, there was 36 phrases, whatever you want to call them. Every third one contradicts the two before it. Now, the same is in the Bible when Adam was talking to God, right? Why would God lie to Adam? The first thing God says to Adam is a lie. Now, God doesn't have to lie to anybody. So think about that. Think about why God would say our kind, meaning there was plural. And that whole concept of Adam and Eve was a twisted story. But who wrote it? Who wrote most of the Bible? Moses wrote the first third of the Bible. People don't even know that. Who do you think wrote about God? Who do you think wrote about this, that? Who wrote about the Ten Commandments? Moses. Who created 613 laws that the Jewish people believe right now? Moses did. I don't want to get into that because it's really sick, a lot of it. Moses was a sick person, one of the worst black magicians to live on this planet. I can go into that. I do that in many of my talks, but I don't want to go there right now. I'm trying to stick with the UFO thing. Sorry, I got pulled out of it. I can tell you about the blue race, but not now. But yeah, Corey Good says he's working with the blue race. Sergio 18 works with the Endorians. And then we got the Andromedans, and we got the Arcturians. So I'm there with words, and I'm not going to get into that. But again, why would the government release anything they're doing as far as with aliens and UFOs? Considering everything that the United States spends most of their money on is the UFO program. They call it war, anything relating to war, which means space protection. I mean, they just built the biggest ship now, and it's the most deadliest weapon on the planet. We are ahead of every other country. People think China has more people in the army ready to fight with guns than anybody else. But if they really think we're that ignorant and go to guns and start fighting each other, I mean, sure, we have the most biggest navy and all those kind of things, but that's not the way it's going to go down if there's a big major war. Now, if Hong Kong is taken out by China, which it could be soon, there will be a war. And then the countries will unite with the United States and take out China. I mean, when a person from Russia, a head person, I can say his name, said we could take out the United States in 2 hours. He meant it. You think he was lying? Why would he lie? The same as we could take out Russia in 2 hours. China is not working the same way we are. Missiles aren't the answer to taking out the planet. I mean, if you don't want to create a major war, you use little toys, which means they're little rockets and stuff. You want to destroy the planet, you take out our laser weapons, which the HARP system is the most deadliest weapon on the planet. And every country has one, but none of them are like the ones the United States has in the United States and Hawaii. Now, on the mental side of that, which I was going to get into since I brought up the last president, they have the ability to go in anybody on this planet and program their mind. Really. On Jesse Ventura's show, he had Nick Baggage, a friend of mine, well, used to be, who actually discovered the HARP system. His father was shot down in a plane. They threatened him and everything else, but he kept the site up, what the HARP system's really about. All right. He was on Jesse Ventura with a little toy box about maybe 6 inches. And he said, this is a fraction of 1% of what the HARP system really is. And he projected music into Jesse Ventura's brain. All right. And it was done with a battery. The HARP system is the most deadliest weapon. In California was going into a blackout every time they turned it on when they were first starting to test it and use it. All right. People have no clue. I can go into the details of the people I knew involved, how to shut the power down inside the power plant so that they can turn on the HARP system without it blowing up California. I mean, then the whole thing about the reservoir being dried out from California. Do you know where all that water went? I'm not going to tell you. Think about it. Where did all that water went? It just didn't evaporate. The truth is out there, but people are too ignorant. They'd rather listen to some idiot saying, well, I know this and I met them and they taught me this and they showed me that. What? Prove it. Prove one stupid little thing that you're talking about. I had one person on my show who had the only solid artifact of a piece of ship. I mean, it was a big piece. It looked like a giant steel pine cone. He had it analyzed by 16 metal companies, and they all said they could not make that on this planet. No possible way. It was a mixture of a couple metals. They said they can make it in tin, in lead, and pour like a lead molding and they make it, but they couldn't make it with steel. So outside of that, his friend was killed when he shot a piece of the ship, and that's how he got it. So getting back to actual proof, Kennedy was killed because of that. Marilyn Monroe was killed because of that. The truth of that's not even going to come out. I mean, they're bringing it back out through awareness that Kennedy was killed for a reason. Well, hold on one second. Well, whoever said anything about the UFO experience, no, it was designed to take out people for food, period. That's all they need us for. They need the planet for food. They don't need it for gold, which is the whole story, which is the beginning of the universe, the planet of the Anunnaki, Inu, and Nil, how they had to mine gold off of the planet. They didn't need gold. We can make gold now. So if we can make gold now, they could make gold then. So it's not like they had to come here to mine gold. And then how much did they mine? Because most of the people that mined the gold, the kings and queens, pharaohs, all kept the gold. They would all be goldless if the aliens wanted the gold. People that talk about the Anunnaki, which I dealt with the two people, one person actually studied with Zachariah Sitchin, went to school with him and everything else. But these stories are ridiculous. Man writes a story, it's twisted because they don't deal with God. They're not respecting God, so they can create what they want in a scenario, what they believe to be true, which is anything that makes them feel good. People don't want the truth. They'd rather hear a lie that sounds good. If it doesn't sound good, they don't want to hear it. History was twisted for the white man in the United States, and it still is. The black man is considered the most persecuted. No, the native people are. That will never change. It's already too late. They're still trying to eliminate them. I could go on that right now. But people don't want the truth. Trump passed a bill a couple months ago now saying if any native person, they didn't use the word native, any person that gets on a boycott and tries to stop the pipeline will be arrested for 25 years. All right? Meaning they won't allow native people to try to boycott the line. Since they did, I don't know, it was never on TV, never what they did to the native people up there while that was boycott. They were there all winter in the snow, 24 hours. All right, they were being hosed down in freezing weather. They had helicopters flying 10 feet above them, blowing them apart. And they had dogs sigging them on them all the time, attacking them. It was the most horrible experience, and nobody talks about it. What's the TV? There's a TV show, and it's the only show that actually shows the real news. I can't think. It starts with an S. Oh, I'm bad. Not Spike, but it's like a 5-letter word. Oh, what is it called? Sorry, I'm brain dead. I can't think of it. But when that went down, not one word was put on TV. Actual things happening in the moment. Very destructive to the whole native race. So guess what? It finally ended. They put their pipeline through. Guess what happened 2 weeks ago? It ruptured again and flooded out 280,000 gallons of gas, oil over the land again. Now, that's what they were fighting for. They didn't want that to happen. I don't want to get into that. But that is a problem. And Trump is doing everything he can to make sure that we don't change the weather. We keep destroying it. We make sure we bring back all the things that destroy the planet. And not giving a care about nature, animals, fish, mammals, or any of it. And he's a good person. I mean, I just wrote a long letter on Facebook with this woman goes, well, he did everything for it. I said, what did he do? He's playing with a wall that's useless. Those people are going to get over it, get through it. I mean, wherever there's a will, there's a way. If there's a wall in front of you, climb it. All right. Well, I want to try to move past the government. Hold on. Let me get past to the next one. Let's go back into these speakers. I know most of them. I put them down wherever I can. Not in a bad way, because they're liars. They're putting false truth to get people to believe that things are going to happen that are going to be good. Good for the human race. I said I was in a religion called Ekankar, and they said karma. We all deal with karma and everything. What drove me crazy? I said, well, what about the starving children? Oh, it's their karma. I said, because some asshole man decides to have 10 children and can't feed one of them. Those children have to get stuck with that karma. They come into karma, and it's their karma. But as a karma world, this world has its karma, we work with that as a group consciousness, or we don't. So we don't work with it. We don't want to change the karma of the world. So rape and abuse have escalated to the max. Child porn, child slavery, sales, all that has escalated to the max. Disease growing greater and greater. Cancer being the number one thing that the government created. So where are we going with all this? To a place where the alien races already want this planet. I'm not going to go into that either right now. But no book, nobody out there has the pieces put together. Because I can say I was aware from Atlantis to now. Even Fred Bell wasn't a spiritual person. Sean David Martin was not a spiritual person, meaning understanding God at any level. All right? He was a gladiator. I'm not gladiator, a knight, or whatever they call him for the king, or whatever, during Jesus' time. We have to look at where we were in all our lifetimes and see where it got us. All right, what were you? What did you learn? In Atlantis, I learned incredible awareness. And then I started getting programmed by all the religions I went through. And they are all programs. But as far as the time when Jesus was alive, everything changed. Nobody spoke about a real God until Jesus came to this planet. Nobody. Aliens were gods to the Hindu people. Hindu was the first real religion. Before Hindu religion, it was animal worship. Then it became a god. And it became deities. And then it became alien gods, which the Mayans, the Aztecs. Hold on. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, are we on air?
I'm on air right now.
Oh, okay.
So I hope I am. Let me just see if I'm still up there. Yeah, I'm still. I guess we're on air, and they can hear you through hearing me. I take it.
Okay, good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Bruce is here, a friend of mine. I guess you wanted to say something. I guess you called in for a reason.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you can distill it down a little bit. I mean, it's a long list of people given untruth, but what is the truth then?
Well, back to the original foundation. One God, one creator God created everything. Outside of that, why we were brought down to this realm. All right. And the way I describe it so people could understand it to a level that might be acceptable in their mind. If you have a mirror and you drop the mirror on the ground and it shatters, and say there's a million pieces, but there's one big piece in the middle of all those little pieces of glass. Mm-hmm. All right. Those little pieces of glass don't know they're the mirror. So they have to find out that they are. So those little pieces, which are souls, get sent down, starting in hell, planet Earth, to start seeing who and what they are, what their abilities are, what soul really is. But when they come down here, there's other little things that affect it. I'm not going to go into all the demons and Satan, but at that same time frame, when God created these realms down to this realm, it had to figure out what it would put in front of each realm to keep that realm in its position. Like you got kindergarten, first grade, second grade. You have a teacher of each grade. So he had to decide, I'm sorry, I keep using it. I usually don't do that. It had to decide what would control each one of those realms. And those words became deities up until the fifth plane where soul dwells. When it came down to the astral plane, it created a more enforced boundary line because all the garbage comes there first. So there wasn't one deity there. There was three, including Satan. Sorry, man, my mind's getting moved. Lucifer. Lucifer was one of the highest angels who was put there for a reason, not to destroy the planet, or he would have. But he doesn't have that ability. Now, Satnam, Jehovah, were already placed there as gods for that realm. And they make sure when a soul dies from here, if it didn't learn what it was supposed to learn here, it's not going to go from kindergarten to college because it wants to. So it's going to make it come back here, which is the word reincarnation, so that it will learn why it is here to move on to the next level. But the laws are different for each one of those realms. Physical laws, Moses had it right. Where he actually carved it and wrote it from was a different story. But he couldn't follow those laws himself. But those laws are critical to importance and balance. People today do not want laws to tell them what to do, even though they have to live by. Go ahead. Sorry.
Let's zero back in on this UFO topic, okay? So, I am the guy Tommy referred to writing a book about Stardust Ranch in Arizona, very similar to the Bradshaw Ranch, which the government took over, and Skinwalker, which Robert Bigelow bought and sold in 2016. Now, in the course of doing this book, Tommy, I've done a lot of research, and some of the most fascinating research I've done is the native mythology from Arizona, the Yanapi people, the Navajo, the Apache. And it seems clear to me that especially the Navajo and the Hopi, they had open dialogue and open communication with the extraterrestrials. They actually talk about coming to this world through a portal.
Well,
and their last world
can I stop
being
you right
destroyed.
there?
No. Let me just get to my question. Okay. Why? What is it about this present state of the human race with our iPhones and our technology and all our smugness and arrogance that the aliens won't openly deal with us, but they would deal with a native population living on the dirt? Like, what is their criteria for dealing with the people?
All right. Now, that's a critical question. Now, this is coming from the highest level that I can put it. And it's going to be, it might sound evil, bad, or whatever you want to call it. I'm part native. And on top of that, I danced all over the United States. I sat with many elders, medicine people, went through the most sacred ceremonies, and I sat with Thomas Binyaka right before he died. Thomas Binyaka was the oldest Hopi elder. He carried their truth, and he carried the Hopi prophecy, which mankind still doesn't agree with or understand or even accept. All right. The problem is the Hopi race is the only race that was originally in the United States and was never brought here. 500 tribes came from other parts of the world when it was one continent down to the United States level of area, whatever you want to call it. The Mayans say that they brought the Hopi people here. They all lie to claim truth to make themselves feel better. Thomas Binyaka, when I was with him in the hotel room, even personally, him and me alone talking, he said, mankind will never listen to the truth. They'll never stop what's going to happen. His prophecy, which is the Hopi prophecy, says if the white man doesn't unite with the Hopi, with the native people, the world will be destroyed. Now, in the interim, right before I met with him, the Tibetan people sent 4 lamas from Tibet to Indian Hopi land to meet with them to talk about their prophecy. Their prophecies were the same. Now, if you know this or not, Tibetan people look exactly like native people do, and vice versa. So, however that's split, I don't know. All I know, they're both on the opposite side of the planet. Like if you go to north to south, that's where the Hopi people are, and that's where the Tibetan people are. So in the interim, the prophecy said that, and it says, they actually found the actual written prophecy, which created the Hopi prophecy, inside the earth. And it has 2 lines. It shows World War I, World War II. It shows if they don't unite, World War III. But when I was with Thomas Binyaka, he said to me, see, here's the thing. People still are prejudiced, which is part of the native people and it's part of the white people. But the facts are we can't unite. We're not willing to give up ego. We're not willing to give up the programmed ideas, which are just programs and useless, to accept something new that's beneficial. The 10 Commandments came out. They did not say anything bad. Nothing was about killing, murder, hurting, abusing, or destroying, or raping, or any of those things. The Muslims created the idea of having sex with their boys and all these things, beat their women up. And then the Jewish people said, well, you can't get married unless you're a virgin, and a girl had to be tested to be a virgin. All these things came out of a perversion of a sick mind of a human.
Yeah.
So
why did the natives communicate with the...
Oh, well, getting back to the question. Sorry, I'm sorry, you kind of got distracted. All right. Now, think about this. You're getting help from an alien race, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there's 50 million of you. Now there's less than 3/4 of 1 million. Where did they help you? Do you know the native people had to kill the giants? The same as David and Goliath, they had to kill the giants as well. Giants were the evil race. They were never good. They weren't talking to the native people. The star beings, which the native people talk about now, never helped the native people. They weren't given any kind of tool to defend themselves like they gave us. Why was that? Why would they give Tesla the most dangerous weapon and the native nation nothing to defend themselves? A bow and arrow while they got shot up and blasted with cannons? Think about it.
Yeah.
When they talk about it, I challenge every medicine man I met. Well, why do you think you deal with aliens? I said, what did they do for you?
Well, let's focus here, because you're onto something big. But once you get going, it's kind of a windy road the way you think. So what you're suggesting is the natives, the extraterrestrials that are dealing with humanity now. They were dealing with the Nazis. They were dealing with the U.S. government. From what I hear, they're dealing with the Indians and the Chinese now. What they're really doing is just giving us enough rope to hang ourselves because they don't want to disobey cosmic law and just take it from us. So they're not really helping us. They're just inflaming our egos, giving us technology we're not ready to have. And when we screw everything up, they take the planet. Is that the plan?
Well, here's one thing. You didn't say this right. All alien races already broke the spiritual code of the physical realm, the law of non-interference. You can't interfere in a race that you have no part in dealing with unless you were God, and they're not. So the second,
what's the enforcement of that law? Why aren't they being punished? What's the enforcement of that law?
Well, when you live in hell, you can't go any further down. How do you go further down in hell? You're here. You're living in it. You can't go further down. You don't go inside the earth and sit in the fire and burn up for a while. I mean, that's not what's going to happen to soul. You know that as well as I do. So the concept of Dante's Inferno, oh, these are the 7 levels that they have to pay when they do things and they go to hell. No, that doesn't happen. You can't torture a soul. You can't burn it. You can't beat it. Can't freeze it. All the concepts that were given by Dante's Inferno, which enforced an idea.
What the most sacred sutra of the Buddhists there, the Saskarma Sutra, which wasn't even translated to English until the late 60s because they didn't think the West was ready for it. It also is a 1-to-1 mirror for Dante's 9 levels of hell.
Right.
And it's a region in the lower astral, and it's all psychological. But while you're there, like when you're fully astral, when you go to the astral, there's a physicality to the astral. Like you can be hurt, you can be caused pain, and you can die on the astral. In fact, the astral body reincarnates as well. If the
but it's not dying though. It's just reincarnating. It didn't die.
But it's 1 to 3,000 years, the average astral body. Now, what I want to get to and why I asked about Peggy Kane is, are we really in the midst of this reptilian takeover of the planet? I've come to the conclusion that just about every billionaire, every politician, and anyone with any power on this planet is, in fact, a reptilian hybrid. Would you agree with that?
Well, I would say under their control. I wouldn't say they were actually that. I mean,
sure,
they could have been that in another lifetime and reincarnated to here. And that's what all those reptilians are doing right now. So that's why all these people are coming up and saying, well, I was a reptilian, I was an alien, I was this, I came here because of that. But as far as being bred and then like hatched here, or however you want to put it, I wouldn't say that far. I mean, you could trace the heritage and all these people, getting back to when they traced all these people related to the original Washington family and stuff like that. How many people in all politics were related, even up to what's his name, to Bush and everybody else. So it's a chain of keeping that energy alive, but it wasn't like they were actually aliens ever in this physical reality on this planet.
Right.
The programming will stay with the soul as long as it holds on to it until it's ready to let go of it. And that'll keep it here. And it'll stay in hell until it says, okay, I don't want to play this game. I want to get out of the matrix once and for all. But mankind says it's too much fun being here. I could rape, murder, kill, have sex, do whatever I want, and come back and do it all over again. So why would you want to leave? So the idea, like the Buddhists, the highest Buddhists say they'll stay here until the last soul leaves, meaning they will never leave here, condemning themselves to stay in hell. I mean, it's as bad as the movie Lucifer. I mean, it kind of exaggerates all that, but it puts it together in a way that you might even be able to understand it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, getting back,
I think the most important thing for people to grasp is that we leave here as individuals. Don't worry about collectives. Don't worry about any kind of collective salvation. Do the best you can for humanity while you're here by being a representative of everything that's good in a human being. But don't worry about anybody else's salvation. They got to get it figured out themselves. The connection between consciousness and the extraterrestrial movement is staggering, okay? There's the two are so interlinked, it's almost impossible to extricate them, right? So most of the UFO phenomenon is on the astral plane. Can they come from the astral and physically present themselves here? Yes, they can. But most of it is on the astral plane. That's how the alien that Clifford Stone befriended when he was working for the military was able to arrange a meeting between Clifford Stone, Major Clifford Stone, and his prematurely deceased son. His son died in his 20s. And the benign alien who was there facilitated a meeting between Cliff and his dead son to give Cliff some peace and to let him know that life goes on. So the two things are really interlinked, is my point. And, you know, the only way the human race is going to get rid of this ET infestation is to become better.
Well,
but it's almost impossible at a collective level.
Well, that's what
I think I figured it out, Tommy.
Okay.
I think you got to leave the cities. You got to go live your own life. You got to grow your own.
That gives you peace of mind and awareness, and you can keep growing in it without anybody taking it away. What I wanted to bring up, in the United States, you're confined by certain laws. The laws is if they declare war on a country and you're 17, they can put you in the army and make you kill people. Now, if a person does that, they're going against spiritual laws themselves, no matter what religion they follow. Because if somebody else tells you to do something, right or wrong, and you do it, it's your karma, not theirs. If somebody says to kill your mother and you do it, if the president told you had to kill your children, like they do in China, and you do it, it's not God's fault, it's not Lucifer's fault, it's your fault. Because you're giving into a truth that's not yours. You have to live your truth, but you have to know your truth is real.
This is the gospel, folks. This is what you need to take in. Tommy's speaking truth here. This is how they get away with all this stuff. All of these hierarchical systems, the government, the debt system, the military, they're karma transference systems. They're ways for the people on the inside to affect their will on the planet without taking on the karma themselves. The karma falls on the order taker, not the order giver. This is the most important thing, if anything, you take from what Tommy has said tonight. That's brilliant, by the way, Tommy. Mark Passio says the exact same thing. The problem with the world is the order takers, not the order givers.
Well, it became that way, and I'll say that it wasn't always that way. Atlantis, it was different. We didn't take orders. We didn't have to. You couldn't lie to a person. You couldn't cheat. You didn't steal. So
we screwed that up, though. No aliens came in. That was entirely human. The Atlanteans and Lemurians decided to war. From what I understand, we had 2 strands of DNA taken from us. We used to be 4, now we're 2. And this has been 12,500 years of stupidity and darkness for the human race because of the colossal screw-up of Atlantis.
Well, Atlantis started 35,000 years ago. All right. It was the world of bliss for many years. I should say centuries. The Anunnaki played a big role in that, as well as the Draconians and the reptilians. Mankind became mass killers, and that's how it was easy for them to start a war. And that's how they actually broke down Atlantis, because that was a peace-loving country. They didn't want truth and peace. They didn't want that. You can't control a person that has truth. Like I said, if somebody tells you to kill somebody and you do it, you're controlled. If somebody tells you to kill somebody, no, I can't. That's your truth, and you know it's right. To die in your truth, which Jesus said, you'll have eternal life. To give your soul over, you lose it. So when people think that, oh, the president told me we have to do this, I give credit to all those people that went up to Canada not to kill people. I mean, they said, I'm against it, I'm not doing it. And Canada let them stay there, and then they were eventually allowed back. But, I mean, religion's being pulled out of everybody. I mean, not that it's really right on. No religion's even close to the truth. But if it doesn't hurt nobody, it shouldn't be taken away from them. When it hurts other people, then it's a different story. We each have the right to live our own lives, not everybody else's.
Yeah, but if you're living in a modern first world state now, you're an order taker, man. You're paying your taxes. They're killing people with those taxes. See, you got to leave. I mean, we go back to the first question I asked when I came on your show. Why would the natives communicate why would the aliens communicate directly with natives? Now, you're right. There wasn't much of a follow-up in terms of helping them, but there was open communication between the Hopi and the natives.
The Hopi people dealt with God. Their God lived inside, met them, was in the earth, and then taught them. He told them to come out to meet the white man. That's the truth from the highest living Hopi elder on this planet. So when a person writes about the Hopi people, when even the Hopi people come out, oh, we work with the star beings and they helped us. Helped you do what? All these star conferences with Native people running them, the star people are helping us. There's one person, Lightfoot, who was a rap singer who I made friends with many years ago. And the first time I met him in Long Island, he said, could you pray for me? And I did. And his life changed incredibly. He's doing more for the Native people inside the United States than any other person that has ever lived. He's raising millions of dollars for everything they do, for building, purifying the rivers, everything. He's an incredible person. He doesn't talk to me much. I mean, he gives me one-word replies if I send him something. But he's honored by the Native nations, all of them. He's helping them in every aspect. So he's not God. He's a person. And I watched him grow. He was in the Indian in the Cupboard in the movies. He did one other movie. He started out that way because the Native people weren't allowed in the movies for the longest time and all those kind of things as well. But he made it up to like the Native American Council. And he's doing incredible for those people, not the president. The president went out to South Dakota and said, oh, we're going to build houses. A month after they left, they said, we can't build houses on that land. And that was it. So, I mean, the truth that comes out of our government, they are still persecuting the Native people. 325 Native people, children died within 2 years now. They're killing them. They put a couple trailers out there, and those trailers are killing the Native people that move into them. So it's a horrible plan, horrible scheme. I can go into that, but I'm not going to right now. But these people that say they talk to aliens, say like even the people talking to aliens now, prove one thing they're saying to you is useful for the human race. One thing.
Oh, it is? Well, I think we're dealing with the dregs of the alien world, like lower astral entities. I mean, I don't think these Greys are that much smarter than us, and I certainly don't think that they have very much impulse control. They seem to like to rape a lot, and
the Greys don't do the raping. See, that's a misconstruement. Greys abduct women to take their embryos and all that. They don't have sex with them. They don't have a sexual penis or body parts.
Okay, let's really dig into this then. What do you make of Cynthia Crawford, the first human being to openly declare herself to be a hybrid? She was the daughter of an OSS officer, the progenitor of the CIA.
You know, I break it down real simple. 90% of people on planet Earth are mind controlled. Whether it's by aliens or whether it's by the government, they're controlled one way or another. The HARP system's sending out signals right now, and they could be programming the world to think that they're evil or whatever they want them to now. But here's the thing. When a person claims something, where is the proof? Now, you know the name. I mentioned to you, Almec. She claimed she was a Venusian. She came to this planet and took a body at 6 years old.
She hung around with Twitchell, right?
Well, she worked with him for 2 years, and they created the God's World charts and all that. But she went on her own. Teached and preached all up until now. She still is, but she almost had a stroke, was in a coma for like a couple months and almost died. But again, she had her truth saying this, but she had zero proof. She had no abilities. She still has no abilities. And then when I challenged her about what Jesus was,
how do you prove these things?
Here's simple.
There is no way to prove them.
Well,
That's the point. Right?
No. Here. And I could tell you what's happening in Hawaii. I'm going to have to cut the show. It's going on forever. I don't know if YouTube will leave it up. So here's the thing. When a person claims something, especially when it's physical, in any physical way, like I was on a ship or anything like that, you're on a ship and you're working with aliens. Grab something out of their pocket. Grab something off the table. Take their shoelace. Take their button off their shirt. Take anything. Nobody has one shred of solid proof.
Bruce, not that easy,
Bruce,
Tommy.
Now, well, no. How come? Okay, let's go back to your friend, Mr. A. Grimsley, John Edmonds, sorry. He claims he killed a Grey. He cut him in half. All right. He says if you cut their head off, they don't disappear. He never did that. So how would he know that, first off? Second off, when he had the blood tested, the same person that supposedly tested his blood was the one that worked with EB, the alien that the government had. All right, he's dead too now.
Whoa. What do you mean? Levengood worked with EB?
Yeah.
Well, that's not in his bio.
Well, again, like I said, when let me go back further. this whole thing about the story John created when he levitated, floated across the room.
I don't think it's a created story, Tommy.
Well, you can believe what you want. I was there. I was with him. He's a liar. He's evil. He's incredibly evil to his own wife. He's incredibly evil to his own dogs. He's incredibly evil to his own horses. He's an evil person. You can't be evil and a good person at the same time. You can't abuse life and say you're a spiritual. He always said every day, I'm spiritual. I'm the most spiritual person. 10 times a day he would say it to me. And he never had he never proved it in any aspect of what he did. When I brought the medicine woman out there with me and she shot the video of this demon over his wife, we got rid of it that night. All right. And then the next day when we were going to clear the property, oh, don't clear the property. Why? Because he wanted those demons there so if people came, they would see him. When he said he'd handcuffed his wife to the bed so the aliens couldn't take her. All these things he said. I was in that bedroom. And I was there when he said the house was knocked off its foundation, which it wasn't. I mean, I saw every lie he told me. And I said, where's the proof? And then when the night before, I was talking to him on the phone, and he wait. He killed the gray.
When you were there with Carrie, you also did see grays when you were there. There's your proof.
Well, I filmed them. The medicine woman I was with filmed them. I'm not saying wait. I didn't say they're not there.
Hold on. So you're saying, where's the proof? You actually went there and got proof. There's the proof. But you're answering your own question.
No, I didn't. There were images of grays, not solid. All right. You can't cut them with a sword. You can't blow a hole in them. All right. Second of all, when
you went out there with Carrie, right? And
no. I went out there with a medicine woman. Carrie was only there one day. I was there for a week. All right.
Well, she saw a gray there.
No, she filmed the ship over the house.
Okay, ship over the house. So why are you saying his story is a lie when you're actually confirming all the stuff he says?
No, he didn't kill 18 grays. Well, let me finish this.
Yeah, well, that part of the story, I don't know. Well, I mean,
I was there. I was talking to him on the phone. He had to leave the phone. He said there was a gray at the door. It ran into the house. He cut him in half, and then it knocked the house off the foundation. This was the week before I was going there. And he goes, oh, well, I said, what'd you do with the blood? I cleaned the sword off. I go, why'd you clean the sword off? Because I don't want the sword to deteriorate. He had the alien's blood again, supposedly. All right? And he said he cut him in half so he didn't have the body. How would he know? Wait. No.
Has it ever occurred to you, Tommy, that a lot of times when people do what they do in this world, they're trying to stay alive because they don't want to end up like the 3 people you spoke about? Your buddy Ford in the insane asylum?
No. He's one. No. See, did you get into the details with him? He meets with FEMA. You know what he told me when he met with FEMA and they met with him? He said they wanted to bring him to another planet. And he said he would only go if they would take his 19 horses with him. Tell me that's a mental case, not a mental case. Oh, they wanted to bring him to another planet. He wanted to bring his horses with him.
I don't think he's allowed to leave the ranch until he hits a certain threshold.
He's not going to hit that threshold. Disclosure. He's not going to get that answer. He's next to an alien base, which I know.
No. You're misinterpreting that. What I mean is he has to get a certain amount of disclosure out. I think it's just part of his life mission.
Well, he believes that. No, people believe they have a mission in life, but nobody ever finds it. Let me tell you this. When I was close to them,
you don't believe human lives have missions?
Very few do.
So what? But you do believe it is. Well, we have karma, right?
We have karma and we create it. Until we break away from karma.
When the life karma is over, we die, right? For the allotted incarnation.
Right.
Okay, so that's a mission.
No, let me get back to John. All right. When I was close to him, which I was, and I thought I was, he said he was put in a chair. He has the key to the universe. They gave it to him. They want him for that key. And that's why one of the reasons I was going to go out there and hypnotize him to bring him back to find what that key was. All right. But he says he has it. All right. Now, for him to say he was in the Montauk chair, he said he was in New York and things like that. All right. I said, well, I gave him techniques to work with. He lied about everything I told him. He said, oh, I did that. I met with my angels. He never met with his angel. First off.
Right.
So when he would say things to me, he was talking to people that everybody he knew was an alien Oh, they're coming over my
Yeah.
house and they're working with me.
Let me put it another way to you, okay? And I've experienced this myself just the 2 times I've worked on the book. Carla Turner is right. The UFO experience is designed so that there can never be any public proof. Okay? Now you're dealing with a 4th dimensional entity that can pop in and pop out. If they forget something or if they leave something behind, and you start to talk about it and make some waves, that thing's going to disappear very quickly. I mean, you're not dealing with something it's not like breaking up the mafia in the 50s with Kennedy's brother Robert, or in the 60s, right? This is different. I mean, proof is a lot harder to come by. You're dealing with entities that can pop in and out of this 3D reality and take proof away. So how are you ever going to get proof?
Well, here's the thing.
The only proof that we could achieve is to elevate everyone on the planet, or a sufficient number of people on the planet, to elevate their consciousness so that they could begin to have astral experiences.
No, wait. No, you're missing the point. All right. The point is, there's ETs are solid objects. They drive a solid ship. Interdimensional beings don't even need a ship. So if you're working with one or the other, they're different. They're not grays, they're not reptilians. So people classify everything in what they perceive their brain is programmed to understand. Interdimensional beings don't travel in ships. That's where orbs came in. When Sergio and I went public, we were the first people to go public with orbs and filming them and telling people what they were. It was 1997. All right.
Yeah.
During that time frame.
So
dimensional beings.
Would the elementals be an example of interdimensional beings?
Of course.
Okay. I got them all over here, on the mountain.
Oh, well, that's where they all had to go there. They're moving out of cities. They can't live in cities, so they have to go somewhere where they can. If they stay in this realm, unicorns and Pegasus all left this planet because they'd be searched out and slaughtered if they stayed here. So they're gone. But as far as the elementals, the air spirits, fire spirits, water spirits, the nymphs, salamanders, all those creatures, they're in different forests and wherever they can be now. And then when that gets wiped out, they leave. They say, well, our time is up. But getting back to the Greys, the Reptilians, the Anunnaki, the Draconians are solid beings. They can transfer their energy for a short period of time, but they go back to a solid mass and back into a ship. So when people see ships, it's solid. It's not like in the astral plane. When you go into the astral plane, things are different. You don't need a ship to travel around in the astral plane. You know that even. So it's a different reality. But the mind holds on to what it knows. I've been dealing with all these people that have death experiences, and they all claim this, that, and the other thing. But none of them talk about the truth. Not one of them. Oh, I met my grandfather. I met Jesus. I met God. And then what? You didn't look where you were. You didn't look what people doing. You don't know anything about that realm, but you come back and you had to come back here. All right? Yep. I did it many times, so I know the difference. And I know what you can see and perceive and understand when you get there. And once you do, there really is no desire to come back here. All right. I'm just holding space for a little bit of time because I'm working with my partner, trying to make sure she's okay. She might not live long, and if she dies, I don't have to stay here. But until,
give my best to them.
I will. But she's doing a song with the owner of my property. He asked her to do a song with him, and he's doing the whole thing. But she's hanging in there barely, and I'm dealing with a country and a city and a town, all persecuting drugs, medicine, and help, and all that. It's just sick. The whole UFO world's exploding here. It's going to explode wide open real soon. But getting back to the point, the solid aliens have things you can take. There was a movie, James Belushi was in it, and he actually got a pen from the alien race, and he gives it to John Ritter, and it was like a space pen, and it brought the ship down. But you can get something from them, whatever it is. Like I said, the person I had an artifact from a piece of a ship, and he won't let go of it. It stays in his possession 24/24. He won't let anybody take it. Now, the only other person was, I can't think of his name, the guy that was on Coast to Coast, and he was running from the government. He had the ship, and it came in his yard, and it killed his dog. He killed the alien, had all kinds of pictures of the ship, the alien, put it in the freezer. The government came in, took the freezer.
So, what do you make of people who have these experiences, like John Edmonds, and there's another one there?
Delusional.
No, he's not delusional, Tommy. Look, dude, can I give you a little bit of advice? take 2 steps back on the confrontation a little bit. Try to develop the mediator in you and find middle ground with people. John's not telling a story any different than that guy from North Carolina, Bledsoe or whatever his name is. You know, it's all the same stuff.
No, Fire in the Sky. He had 3 people in the car.
That's Walton. That's Walton.
Right.
That's 19.
Right.
That's
but again,
Walton,
he had 3 people in the car that saw the ship land and him get pulled into it. He had witnesses.
I'm talking about this guy, Bledsoe.
Okay.
Right. North Carolina, who you can just Google him. Rich Dolan just did an interview with him.
Right. Yeah. Dolan's a fool as well.
This is all Tommy, folks. I'm not agreeing.
You don't have to agree with it. You came on to ask me a question, and I'm doing it. But I'm not going to agree here with nobody on this planet because nobody's talking about God ever. Nobody. It's about aliens. It's not about aliens. They're not going to help us, and they'll try to keep mankind alive because they need food. But it's not about that. We're not here to find out about alien races. They got their mission. They got to find out about humans. They got to learn compassion. They got to learn all the things we already did or we should have. So it's not about that. It's only about the only purpose why we are aware of who and what we're here. The only reason why we are here because of that. And that's the word God, not aliens, not deities, not demons, not angels, any of that. So when people talk, they don't talk about that one word. Now, the person that Walsh wrote Conversation with God says he talks to God. And the only thing he comes out of that, which is the programmed idea of what God is supposed to be and what we're supposed to be, loving people. We aren't. We have never been that. And we will never be that on planet Earth. Not no more. Yeah. Maybe in a trillion years or a billion.
I got to go.
All right. Well, look, it was a pleasure. All right. Bye-bye.
Soon.
All right, everybody. That was my friend Bruce. We don't agree. We talked for a long time. He's got his truth. He's living up in Costa Rica on his own beautiful piece of land with little houses. He can bring people there and stuff. He created his reality, which people should do if they have the ability to do it. Live outside the box. Don't live inside the box. I'm here for my own reasons. I have to do what I have to do. Sure, I can enjoy my life. I could go to the ocean. I didn't go to the ocean in 2 years. I'm 3 blocks away from it. I walked down by it. I saw a bunch of dolphins for the first time. But, I mean, I'm not enjoying myself. I'm not in a place to put... We believe enjoyment is why we're here. We're not here for enjoyment. We believe that because our physical mind is programmed that it's supposed to. Think about the cavemen, what their enjoyment was in life. Having sex, having children, eating. Enjoyment, I still love to eat, and a lot of people do. That's truly the only enjoyment because it keeps the body alive. Nothing else does. Love doesn't. We want it to. We want to believe that. So, it's been a long show. I didn't get as far as I wanted, but I did get somewhere. And I hope you got the important parts out of this. Please send this link to everybody else. Anybody out there that thinks they have the truth, want to talk about their truth, want to prove their truth is real, Hawksblood1AOL.com. I will be doing a show soon where people can come on live physically and see each other and all that. But please, I do a show every Tuesday with a woman from England who was being abducted half of her life, can prove it. I am dealing with people that have proof or had proof. And that's not what people do today. The stories are bigger and bigger with zero proof. So with that, everybody, I hope you enjoy the show. Tune in next time. Send this link out to anybody you can. And hopefully we'll keep moving forward. And I'll take up from this when I get part 2. I'm going to be doing another lecture, a lot more complex about what I was talking about in detail. All right. Till then, peace.